Hi, my friends and family. My name's Trey, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about the hidden costs in a gift. Shocks of mighty zaps, secrets.
And honestly, what you know, I got to say that pretty soon humanity is gonna have to throw all those secrets away. 'Cause deceiving you and ruling over lies that are never true are gonna implode into an ugly black hole. And the only way for a future at all is humanity is pretty soon gonna have to throw all your secrets away.
The hidden costs in a gift. Shocks of mighty zap secrets. Man, I was trying to set up in the yard and the clouds were so gray and white and engineered that I couldn't even get enough sunlight to get any light on this noggin to record a video to make it where you could even see my face. So here it is in my room with this my sibling wrapped plastic around the window to add some extra insulation when again the geoengineering had rendered this almost freezing into night, which is pretty weird for Charleston when I was last here in February. And now for something somehow exactly the same yet completely different. And now for something somehow exactly the same, yet completely differentiated into itself, in discernment learning skills. What could that be? Well, the hidden costs in a gift. And that is the topic of the hidden costs in a gift. What do I mean when I say the hidden costs in a gift? Well, what do you think I mean? And what occurs in the so-called age of Aquarius when the social liquid light of the collective be-Christed humanity's shocks of almighty true Christ light zaps all of the fake authority of secrets and secret rulership back to the end of Saturn or wherever it belongs, hurling the moon all the way back to Alpha Draconis, Zeta Ridiculus, or wherever they actually belong, to Abaddon or whatever black hole is the coziest for them. And much love and big ups and praises to Lee Scratch Perry and Bob Marley for their making a track called Shocks of Mighty. This video is about the hidden costs that you might have to incur if someone gives you a gift or if the universe has given you a gift. The hidden costs, the subconscious reasons, the mind control aspects of gifts given and received. And well, for number one, if you have a talent, in the movie Spider-Man, they have this great line in the end, they share the great obvious meme, with great power comes great responsibility, right? Well, what occurs if it is thwarted? What if you have a great talent or great responsibility or great power that's thwarted? Or what if you get a deadly, horrible social disease that makes it seem impossible to share your gift? And what is called the love bombing phase of narcissistic personality disordered people's abuse, the infatuation machismo, the sick idea that I said that Barry Gordy had actually, mind controlled me with inadvertently through all the Motown and Supremes lyrics, i.e. the idea that love is this initial obsession. Well, this fits in perfectly with CNPD or NPD expression, which is often actually an alien love bite, and an alien love bite relationship. Eve Lorgan wrote 2 books about this phenomenon, so it's she has all the evidence that this exists in those books. A partnership orchestrated literally in hell, or psychological hell, by the Archons, or even Lucifer himself, to provide a maximum anguish in a big old loose fountain. As long as you're with that person, a loose fountain for them to feed on. That's right. Your relationship with that person is going to be nothing but drama, trauma, and wounds, because that's how it was designed. Those with strong narcissistic personality disorder tendencies, or high on the scale of NPD, as it's called, will treat you as a god, worship you when you first become friends or lovers with them, worship you, honor you, tell you, they're going to help you live out all your dreams and the shared fantasy. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear in sickeningly exacting, explicit details, only for you to find out, moons later, or even simply weeks later, or even days later, that not only could they not uphold their shared fantasy, which they seem to exact with so many details, that they had you convinced that they believed it too. This is why many people consider NPD, they think that the person has multiple personality disorder, or DID, when they first meet them, or when they first become aware of their insanity. So, because this person often they believe this fantasy, or sometimes they do. Then they enter the discard phase of narcissistic personality abuse, where they can forget you exist. You soon notice this social psycho, attempted controller over everyone around them, or sociopath, is triangulating you with every mutual friend. That's right, every person who knows both of you, every loved one or blood kin, or even acquaintance, even somebody you don't even know, telling all of them how idiotic you are, or pointing out your stupid parts to all of them, and exasperating and exaggerating them, and even making up shit that you never did, and telling them all how idiotic you are and exactly why, if you don't want to do as some of us have had and spend years listening to YouTube videos learning about how to heal from CNPD, or worse, spending a decade getting a legal degree in psychology from a university or school, what can you do now to deal with this problem, of the hidden gifts, the hidden costs of these amazing gifts you got from narcissistic people? Well, in an inverted human farm and slave matrix, there can be a lot of hidden costs in almost every transaction or interaction if you're not really careful. Well, one thing I always think of, I recall from the great works of Carlos Castaneda, and this one is, again, like many things you'll hear, if you're open to learning, you'll learn on my show that I'm just telling you the obvious, that but again, this is a basic thing if you think about it. And Carlos Castaneda always talked about intention. Clearly, in the clarity of the clear light of Christ Sophia, oh man, I'm glad to, in my Charleston family home, my CHA, my rusty central heat and air came on before I recorded this, because you'd see more sweat on my forehead if I hadn't. This only kind of works a little bit in this room. Well, it's also 95 degrees out there, 90, so in the clarity of the clear light of Christ Sophia, in her majestic intuitional capacity, as I said yesterday, there can be no secrets. For wisdom, or Christ Sophia, already knows it all. I mean, the Akashic records, the mind of the Creator has everything in it. So if your Creator gave you a gift and you do not give it, what do you have? Say you were born with a talent that you didn't use, or something that helped others or served others that you didn't use, then what do you have? A hypothetical gift? This is where the concept, again, I mentioned a few videos ago, and the idea of the transpersonal God really comes into effect if you know what your blueprint is for this incarnation. You have to do it. You have to live your dream. No, there's no such thing as a hypothetical gift. If you think you have a gift or a talent and you don't give it or sell it, then it is nothing. To a capitalist 3D system, almost 500 videos full of wisdom is worth nothing if they weren't marketed properly and no one made any money off it and it didn't put food in anyone's belly or help them be possessed by a cube box to stay in for survival or safety. It is worthless to a 3D world, you know. How many hundreds of people would be patting me on the back if everyone agreed with those who, you know, with my community here, that it does agree that this has value. Not that I care, but it's just the way the world is set up. So likewise to Christ Sophia, most of what the fallen angels have achieved is, on the other hand, on the opposite hand, a great deal of adversarial black hole coercion and magnification of the power of nothing. That's right. She's aware that, you know, I mean, it might. Some people learn from torturing. Some people learn in psychological hell and prison states. But if they're not willing to do the shadow work, if they're not willing to learn their lesson, it means nothing. Okay, war, rape, torture, these serve nothing's captured, continued, inverted, siphoning, sucking black hole. What is the cost of the gift or gifts that Lucifer has given us? Talked a lot about that on these shows, right? So in these talks, yes, this question can be hard to answer. It's many faceted. Obviously, it's just to steal your energy and lower your vibration. And, you know, if you accept the bribe or if you accept the deal with the rain, if you sign your name and accept whatever it was, all these many various multifaceted schemes, from the mortgage to the rock star signing the record label contract. What is the cost? You know, how many musicians were able to speak out in 2020? Well, we had Eric Clapton. He wrote a song and he gave it to Van Morrison. In addition to Eric Clapton's song, he wrote a whole record speaking out. But beyond Van Morrison and Eric Clapton, who was it? You know why? Because they all signed up with the Rainmaker to where they couldn't say anything. So all of your favorite movie stars and rock stars, or at least 96% of them, are all involved in the dark side, you know, and it's like Tom Hanks, you know, when people find out, they're shocked. Wow. You know, yes, the question of how Lucifer is going to demand payment can be hard to answer. I've attempted to answer that in hundreds of videos here. Through war, rape, coercion, diseases, all kinds of diseases, and mind control. Many of us, we have been pushed into a corner and agreed to be small, agreed to be little, because we were so trauma bonded to these dark controllers for, you know, millions of years. It's gotten worse and worse. You know, a long time ago, many moons, millions of years ago, humans were forced to breed with the reptilians, and rape, breeding, you know. It's just the whole thing, the whole history of our controllers, our takeover artists, has been rife with trauma. And it's all, you know, we've all been traumatized by the dark side, for sure. And, you know, they attempted to coerce us all to, if they're not going to kill you, you got to be very, very small and lonely. Identify as someone who hates the idea of reproduction and fully rejects your natural organic flesh suit, for example, and we will include you in our huge millions and millions of people, open-minded, even sometimes orgiastic community of everyone. Guess what I'm talking about here? You are fully welcome You're totally welcome in our clique. Everyone's welcome in our clique. You're encouraged to suck dick, but you don't have to. Oh yeah, well you must support that surgical castration of children is a very good idea and a righteous idea. If they really have bad gender dysmorphia, they should get out of that suffering as soon as possible, ASAP. There's a few things you're going to have to accept, but, you're welcome in. And another thing, what is the hidden cost? Well, if you believe in reproduction, it's going to be a lot harder to find friends in our club. What does the word respect mean? Look again. Discern. Respect. Look again. What are the hidden costs of every disability check? Well, you got the identification with whatever's wrong with you to begin with. When someone rich or worse, someone of average or small wealth even, what do you do then? What if someone who doesn't have very much insists on showering you with love, money, and gifts? Or doing it all for you, inviting you over to their house and wanting to do everything for you, When someone invites you to move in with them on the first day you meet them. If that doesn't give you a red flag, then are you naive? I mean, I used to do that kind of thing in my early 20s. Especially if they are, before my brain was fully developed. Especially if they're not covert narcissist psychopaths, or if you can't discern that they are. If they actually, it's because they're having this overwhelming empathy for sure. What would you assume? Why would you assume there will not be some type of payment, sex, torture, encapturement, or psychological capture or abuse at the least? I mean, maybe this is because I was born with Mercury and Capricorn retrograde in my zodiac birth chart, so I think all the way around things too much. Many think, but this is why a few people find me to be a good teacher, because I see through the bullshit. No good deed goes unpunished, and the road to hell is paved in good intentions. Unfortunately, both of these cliche meme sayings tend to be accurate. Okay? Once again, they're accurate unless you have very clear discernment. Unless you can discern that person's intention is clear. They're not a narcissistic psychopath. They're not trying to get you to run a war. They're not trying to feed off your oppression. They're not trying to suck your energy because they're energy vampire. Or they're not trying to put you up on a pedestal. They're not trying to make you the proverbial frog in the pot and put you in a warm bath only to boil you to death so they can eat you. You have to discern they're not doing these things. Then maybe you can receive that person's help with some semblance of an awareness of what kind of karmic entanglement you're getting into, right? So it's a very, it's a skill. It's a very dialable skill, but it takes practice, and you really can't just, not everyone can do it, man. It takes skill. It takes practice. So, and also, of course, faith in the reality of the divine within you and around that. So unless you have very clear discernment, it's going to lead you back to hell to take their help. Whether it be that weird wealthy kid who wanted to help you into their control for some reason, or some weird fetish they had. The situations I'd find as an accepting triple Sagittarius from Charleston in my early 20s, hitchhiking and traveling around, and 5 summers in Asheville are a lot different than now since I've had this flesh suit over 4.5 decades. When I still have to get rid of my hermit archetype, I unfortunately dialed in probably too much in my 30s and early part of my 40s, needing to in my 40s to heal from that accident, and more so to heal when when politicians or medical MDs accept bribes, okay, when they take bribes, what does that action of passive acceptance, what does that do to their integrity? What does it make their intention? Okay, it's really obvious. Think about it. Discern. If you are not crystal clear on your intentions, on the reason why you're giving or receiving a gift, what you're doing with your gifts, the Archons can add attacks. Whatever you're doing. If you're not really clear about what you're doing, the Archons are going to add attacks. And it might be more than you have to pay. Whatever the person lining the pockets, whatever the what does it make if a politician or an MD takes a bribe? What does that make their intention? Well, whatever the person lining their pockets says, of course. This inverted relationship with money extends all the way up to where we are here, these platforms. No one is exempt unless, again, if they are so pure, if they vowed and, they've actually convinced you of how open, how clear they are. And they convinced you even then. The dark side will not give up in infiltration. One of their most important tactics, okay? And one of their greatest skills that they always will use. So, however, tragically for the secret makers, the days of rulership are over. For on the internet, it's you tat till it's only us. They tried to use DARPA. They used Nikola Tesla presented Wi-Fi to the world in 1893, and then they took them 110 years to give it to us and cell phones and internet because DARPA had to try to dial it into certain ways to control us and certain frequencies and have full censorship control over it, but it didn't work. Okay, in the cell phones, you might have, they may have actually succeeded, have great massive mind control. In the human machine's first cyborg slave race attempt or machine-human interface, the first operation to force us to be one with machines. I made a video series about that where I taped a sign to my head. The sacred clown in me came out for that series saying that, this is not for microwaves. So they successfully got 96% of humans to forced them to think they needed to have a microwave cell phone in the early 2000s. Okay, so the first attempt at the machine-human interface fully working, Aquarius governs. You see the zodiac sign Aquarius, and we're going into the age of Aquarius now. Aquarius governs electricity and gadgets. Okay. So, and also humanitarianism, true humanitarianism, the real version of humanitarianism. So the dark side with their powerful mind control techniques, they had to work quick and they had to try to do it as powerfully as they could. And discernment, Aquarius keys in with discernment, like really being aware and awake. It reveals, the energies of Aquarius reveal and zap, then nullify often or incorporate all secrets. Similar to, like Lucifer and the secret societies successfully did so long in reverse for millions of years, like taking over Christianity and all the different religions that they could, at least the Abrahamic ones, or inventing or taking them over. And keeping it all for itself, thereby, you see Aquarius takes all of the secrets and serves them to the oneness. Thereby, what Lee Perry and Bob Marley termed the shocks of mighty. Shocks of mighty will zap and render all secrets all the mighty powers of secrets to be weak and infertile. For in the light of Christ Sophia, the fake ass AI light and the fluorescent light of Lucifer, the fake junior god, can't rule over beings. There are no secrets. In the light of Christ Sophia, there are no secrets. There is only enlightenment. Always ask your inner self, what are the hidden costs? And every time you give somebody money, or every time you give people energy, what are the hidden costs? What is their intention? What do they want? Unless they're enlightened, or you're 96% sure they're enlightened, then maybe it's okay. Always ask your inner self, your higher heart, the Christ Sophia, is this a clear, if you feel weird about it, what is this person's intention? Does this person have a clear intention? Is it the intention of these videos is to help you wake up and to serve the truth and to serve the medicine of what I've learned, to serve the healing that I have ascertained to you. Okay? What is the intention? Ask yourself, what is this being's intention in their heart? Do they even connect to their heart? Or is this just a monetary transaction? If so, it might not be the best thing to be doing business with them at this point in August 2024. The re-emergence of the human heart in Masse, right? And the AI blossoming, so to speak, of humans 2.0. Wow, the weirdest and the greatest moment ever you could be incarnated, right? What are the hidden costs? It serves my higher self and ascension to serve all of y'all, of course, the best I can. These are my consistent payments. If anyone learns anything, if this helps you, if you haven't already, click subscribe for more transmissions and let me know what you thought. If you know how to make comments and be polite and respectful, you can put them on YouTube. Otherwise, they might delete them, or put them on Rumble or Odyssey. And visit me there if you want to go deeper into the dark side of the mind control and all the weapons pointed at us and what we can do about that. And, as usual, folks, if you have the courage, create a great day wherever you may be in this sacred, divine, beautiful globe we call Gaia. Many blessings and one love, and I hope you enjoyed this Hermit Church transmission. Peace to you all.